Okay, this is Algebra 1, Section 5.3. This time we're going to solve systems of equations by the method called elimination. Pretty straightforward. I'm just going to jump right into some examples so you can see how this method works. So here's my two equations. And I want you to think about what would happen if I just added these two equations together. Notice that this is positive 2y and this one's negative 2y. And if I added those together, that would be 0. So I effectively am eliminating the y variable. So let's just go ahead and add these two together. By the way, this is my favorite method of solving systems of equations because it's pretty straightforward and easy. So I have 6x equals 4 plus negative 4 is 0. If I divide both sides by 6, I get x equals 0. And then I'm just going to take this x value and plug it into either one of these. How about this one? So 3 times 0 plus 2y equals 4. Well, 3 times 0 is 0. So that would leave me 2y equals 4, divide by 2, and y equals 2. So my answer is x equals 0 and y equals 2. Okay, well, they're not always that straightforward and easy. Okay, let's look at this one. So I noticed that right away, I'm looking at the coefficients of the y values, or the y terms. This one's negative 6 and this one's 2. Well, if I multiplied this equation by 3, this would become a positive 6y. And if I added that to this, that would then the y's drop out because that would be 0. So I'm just going to rewrite this one. And I put this here so that I don't forget what I'm multiplying by. And remember, you have to multiply every term in the equation by that number. So 5x times 3 is 15x. 2 times 3 is 6y, positive. And 19 times 3 is 57. So now I'm going to add those two together. 7x plus 15x is 22x. That's 0. That's what I wanted because I wanted the y's to disappear. And 9 plus 57 is 66. If I divide both sides by 22, I get x equals 3. All right. And now I'm just going to plug this in to, remember, I can pick either one. I'm going to choose the first equation and do 7 times x, but x is 3, minus 6y equals 9. And then I'm going to solve this equation for y. That would give me 21 minus 6y equals 9. Subtract 21 from both sides. This would be negative 6y equals negative 12. Divide by negative 6, which leaves me y equals 2. So my answer then is x equals 3 and y equals 2. All right. So this was an example. Let's go back. The first one was an example of where I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to change any of the equations. I just added the two equations together, and one of my variables was eliminated. In this example, which is number 8, by the way, on your worksheets, I only had to change one of the equations. I just had to multiply this one by 3 so that then my y's would be eliminated. So this third example is when we actually have to change both equations. And because, well, let's look at the x's. One's positive and one's negative. That's always a good start. This one, though, also is positive and a negative. Let's eliminate the x's this time. And I'm going to look at a multiple that 2 and 3 both go into. So the easiest one I can think of is 6. What do I multiply this by to get 6? I'd have to multiply by 2. I'm telling you guys, it really helps to write this down. And plus, when I'm grading your work on a quiz or a test, if you write this down, I can clearly see what your intent is. Please let me know what you're doing. And then to get a negative 6x here, I would just have to multiply this equation by 3. So now I'm just going to rewrite both of these equations after multiplying by the multiplier here. 3x times 2 is 6x. 4y times 2 is a positive 8y. Negative 1 times 2 is negative 2. By the way, the most common mistake made in this method is that you forget to multiply the right side by your multiplier. Don't do that. Okay, 3 times negative 2x is negative 6x. 3 times negative 5 is negative 15y. And 3 times 10 is 30. And now I'm just going to add these two equations together. Obviously, the x's drop out because that's why I did that on purpose, so that the x's would be eliminated. And 8 minus 15 is negative 7y. Negative 2 plus 30 is 28. Divide both sides by negative 7. And I get y equals negative 4. And then just pick one of your equations. I'm going to choose the first one. And I'm going to plug that in for y. 3x plus 4 times negative 4 equals negative 1. This would give me 3x plus negative 16 equals negative 1. I'm going to add 16 to both sides, which gives me 3x equals 15. Divide by 3, and I get x equals 5. So my answer is written as an ordered pair, x equals 5 and y equals negative 4. And that's it for 5.3.